To begin today's conversations about ID and climate change, Peter Rabinowitz, director of the Center for One Health Research, is here to discuss the human-animal ecosystem interface. Let's jump right in. What is the human-animal ecosystem interface, and how does that correlate to infectious diseases?
Well, I think what infectious disease experts need to know is that more than 2/3 of emerging infectious diseases are what's called zoonotic. So they're transmitted between animals and humans, and often the environment is playing a big role in that. We've seen in the last couple of decades one zoonotic disease outbreak after another. So starting with like West Nile, and then we have SARS, and then we have MERS, and then we have H1N1 influenza, monkeypox, and COVID, which has a lot of zoonotic components. So there's been more and more of these outbreaks, and obviously something big is going on because we didn't used to have these outbreaks, and clinicians didn't have to think about all these zoonotic diseases in the past. We are changing the way we are raising animals for food. There's habitat loss and other changes that are bringing us closer in contact with wildlife. And the environment is changing, and climate change is bringing both humans and animal populations together and helping drive pathogens, which really do very well in these sort of concentrations of humans and animals. Climate is making the world hotter. And it's also leading to extreme weather events like drought and flooding. So it's going to be hotter, drier, and wetter. And each of those things is associated with some infectious diseases. And that's where the One Health concept has really developed in the past 2 decades. It's become internationally recognized as the best way to approach these problems, because you can't just look at human health in isolation, and we need to understand what are the ways that the virus is spreading in the environment that we may be not thinking about before.
And then you add into the mix climate change, and as it intensifies, you really feel strongly that researchers need to focus more on animals in the environment. How so, and how valuable would that be long term?
So clinicians need to get ready for emerging infectious diseases. They can really get ready by looking at their skills at, first of all, like history taking, physical exam, diagnostics, and then treatment and communication with other groups, like maps of vectors and mosquitoes and ticks and where they're being found, and that's changing. Can we start getting this kind of information to the clinicians so they know to look for a new disease when, for instance, dengue shows up in Florida? They're aware that that's happening. And then beyond the history, can they really get good at doing physical examinations that can pick up new diseases and things that just are not the typical things they're seeing? And then the fourth aspect is the idea of keeping in touch with other groups. Like if the veterinarians are seeing outbreaks of disease in the dogs or cats or other animals in your area, we should know that as human health clinicians. We should be able to talk with them and think about, if the animals are getting sick, what does that mean for humans? Are the animals sort of like the canary in the coal mine, telling us that something's changing in the environment that we should know about? We're seeing this with tick-borne disease all over the United States. The ticks are moving, there's new diseases in the ticks, the animals are getting sick as well, and that kind of communication is going to become more and more important for infectious disease professionals.
As it continues to just expand, as we've been seeing, and I love that concept, One Health. So thank you for sharing, and thank you for your time and all the work that you do.
You're welcome.
Great.